guys, it's Brittany. So today I'll be reviewing Home Alone, and it's actually one of my favorite Christmas movies. So, um, it's directed by Chris Columbus, written by John Hughes, and we get this great cast, and they honestly did a good job. And now, of course, in this movie, it's a story um, where this family is gonna go on vacation for Christmas, but when they leave, they accidentally leave someone behind, and of course, that character that we know is Kevin. So he gets left behind, and of course, they're trying to go back because he's home alone. and that's where and that's what the title is, because he was left behind. He's home alone. And of course, there are these two burglars where they try to break in, but then they do end up breaking in, but then when they try, there are some little like boogie traps that happen along the way where they get hurt, physically hurt. But the way it's played out, it just looks funny. So this is just a really good, like, funny um, Christmas movie. And I remember when I first watched it, I'd never seen anything like it before, and I just thought, okay, like, this is good, this is funny. And so, I think that the story is really good because there are some funny moments within the story, but then um, you get those moments too where you do feel bad of what's going on, and because he's alone, his family's not there, and he does feel bad. He does feel lonely because he's by himself. But then, of course, even though he does feel that, he knows that the burglars are coming to break into his house, to steal whatever it is that they want, because unfortunately that's what does happen, um, where where someone's house gets broken into because they're trying to steal somebody else's presents, and it's like, that is horrible. Like, why would you do that? So yeah. So it was released November 16th, 1990. It had it had received positive reviews. And the music score is by none other John Williams. And he is a really great music composer. And yeah, he did a good job with composing the music for Home Alone. And I don't know if anyone has noticed this while listening to the music, but there's some part of the Home Alone theme where you hear a little bit what sounds like within a Jurassic Park, like just a little bit, and I remember catching that. Now I never noticed that before, like a long time ago, but it wasn't until maybe last year that I've actually caught that, and I noticed that. But that does happen with other movies and music composers, where you'll hear a little bit of the same, maybe, tune or the same note, where it would sound like something else of their other work that they've done in other movies, so it might sound similar to maybe something else they did for this movie or that movie, just maybe a little bit. So, sometimes that does happen, but that's okay. But the thing is, and here's the thing that I find quite interesting, because when you hear it, you can hear it just for a little bit. And but the thing is, Home Alone came out in 1990, and then with Jurassic Park didn't came out till 3 years later in 1993. So I'm guessing, because maybe within that part of the music, somehow that also became a huge part of the Jurassic Park theme that we all know. So I find it very interesting. So in case if you don't know that, listen to the theme of Home Alone, and you'll hear that somewhere in there, and you'll once you hear it, how it made probably like just a big difference, and it made like this very huge impact that made the Jurassic Park theme very well known and just very recognizable, and something that is just there. So you know what I mean. So once you hear it, you'll definitely hear that. um Still, that's just a fun fact out there. And so yeah, so on to back to the movie now. Yes, this is a good, funny, also a feel good, Christmas movie. And um I do like the cast. They did a great job. And um of course, I would say there are just, yeah, there's some things. Well, I like everything about it. I do. I love it. But one thing I don't like is the fact that Kevin's brother, he has a pet. Um, I don't want to say it. I don't like the word. Um, Tarantula. Uh, so yeah, he does, but you kind of see it here and there. But um, the part where I'm like, I don't think I can really watch is when they're running through the house to get him, and then all of a sudden he sees the spider there, and then he decides to pick it up and put it right on his face. Ugh. No. And from what I've read is that the actor Daniel Stern, who plays one of the burglars, he even said that it was okay if they had used the real spider to put on his face. It's like, why? Like, I mean, I don't know why he was okay with that. I don't know if he thought maybe instead of using a fake one, to use the real one, to get the real maybe reaction from it, or just to feel, maybe he wanted to be in character of what would it be like if his character had to face this situation, how his character reacts. So I think he wanted to be real and raw, which it was. But still, I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, okay, maybe I would say he was brave when they had to do that, and they had to do that, but oh, oh man, I'm just like, no. So But yeah, I would say yes that the cast they did a really great job, and there are some funny parts in here that just um, make me laugh. And what I didn't know, which I think I've heard about this, is that the movie that Kevin's watching is not even a real movie. It's I think it's something that they just made up for. Like they made this made up movie, old movie for Kevin to watch, and I did not know that. Honestly, I honestly thought he was watching at least a movie, but I thought he was watching a real movie, which come to find out was not a real movie. They just made it up, and but of course you get that too. There are some movies where you get where they're not really real movies. They're made up movies, and you may see some little bits of it within that movie, but it's not real. Kind of like with Scream. Like you get the stab movies, which aren't a real horror movie they're watching. It's just a made up movie within the movie because it's based on what's going on and what had happened that year or the year later. So it's like that. Yes, I do love watching this movie, especially around this time of year. And what I also like is I think one of the things I think is like, just all the funny parts in here, and I think what's also great is that we see a John Candy cameo in this one. And so, yeah, it was just nice to at least see him, to have at least a small role in this movie, but, it still made, like, even within towards the movie, of getting close to the end of the movie, still made it, enjoyable, and everything else. But I think when the part two came out, let me hang on a sec. Alright, I'm back. I had to look at when part two came out, and it was in 1992. And I think it also would have been nice, like, if they had shown maybe a John Candy cameo in part two as well. Now, I don't know if they had planned on doing that in the sequel, but even if not, whatever the reason may have been, like, that's still okay because at least we got a cameo in this one, and everything else in this movie of these great performances as well, and everything else that we could see of the funny parts, um, and how they all come back home towards the end, and where it just ends up being this really good feel good Christmas movie, with some laughs along the way while you're watching it. And yeah, it's just really great. So yes, I enjoy watching this, and I will be watching this at least sometime this month. So yeah, the director did a great job with this movie, and John Hughes as well, who did a good job, and the cast. So I'm sorry if I didn't mention any names, but everyone who did this movie and brought this movie to life and made this a good feel and funny Christmas movie, all the credit goes out to those who worked on Home Alone both on and off screen, and I really do enjoy it, and it's just, really great to watch. So I hope you enjoyed this movie review. Oh, and with my rating, I would give it an 8 out of 10. An A. I'll give it 75% and 4 stars. So I hope you enjoyed this, and hope you get to enjoy this holiday season too, and do whatever it is that you want to do that makes you happy. Even if it's not Christmas movies, but maybe horror movies, that's okay too. Feel free, to watch whatever you want to watch. So that's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.